I mean, even I still kind of can't believe I pulled it off. Like, I'm Jessica, I'm 24, and yeah, I did something pretty wild. You know how sometimes you just have to do what you gotta do? Well, this was one of those times. It was all for a good reason, though, truly. Between us, I'd been thinking about it for a while. So, this story, it's about my stepbrother, Kyle. Ugh. Kyle. He's like, 20. And honestly, he was the absolute worst. He's my mom's new husband's kid, right? So, he moves in with us a couple of years ago when his mom, like, moves to Dallas or whatever, and my mom, being my mom, decides we just have to take him in. Like, it's our Christian duty or something. Please. Anyway, he shows up, all Mr. Growth mindset because he went to therapy after his parents' divorce. Blah, blah, blah. Always talking about boundaries and communication. He was just a too nice guy who thought he was smarter than everyone else. So annoying. From day one, it was a nightmare. He was always in my space. Our house, it's not huge, you know? Just a normal 3-bedroom. And suddenly, I have to share my little slice of peace with this boy. He was supposed to be in college, living in the dorms, but no, apparently, he needed to save money or something stupid like that. So he was commuting, and that meant he was always here. Always. He was the kind of person who'd leave his dirty dishes in the sink, even though the dishwasher was right there. He'd leave his laundry on the floor. He'd hog the bathroom forever. And he was so loud. Always on his stupid video games with his headphones on, yelling at his friends at like, midnight. Like, hello? People are trying to sleep. I work, you know? I have to be at my job, at the office, bright and early. He didn't get it. He was just so inconsiderate. I tried talking to him, you know? Like, hey Kyle, can you please keep it down? And he'd give me this passive-aggressive, burnt-out look, like I was the problem. I'm just trying to unwind after classes, Jessica, he'd say, all tired and disengaged. I thought we talked about clear communication. He always avoided accountability, always made it sound like I was being dramatic. He'd tell me I was invalidating his feelings. Seriously? My feelings about wanting to sleep didn't matter, I guess. He was always scorekeeping in his head, too. Like, if I ever did something, he'd remember it and bring it up later. And the food situation? Oh my God. He would eat everything. My snacks, my leftovers, everything I bought for myself. I'd come home from my job, looking forward to that last piece of cake, and boom. Gone. Kyle. Every single time. And if I said anything, he'd just be like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was yours specifically. Like he couldn't see my name on the container. He was just so clueless sometimes, and it really grated on my nerves. My mom, bless her heart, she was no help. She loved him. Seriously. She thought he was the sweetest, most charming kid ever. Oh, Kyle is so helpful around the house, she'd say. Helpful? He helped himself to all my food, that's what he did. She saw him as this reformed wild boy who was overcorrecting and trying to do good. And he played into it, too, always doing little things for her, like taking out the trash or going to the store. And she'd just fall for it. It was like he had this public persona that was so supportive and sweet, but in private, he was just a pain. It made me so mad. I remember one time I was trying to study for a certification for my job. Really important stuff, needed to focus. And he was in the living room, watching some dumb action movie, volume cranked. I asked him, nicely, to turn it down. And he just looked at me, oh, am I bothering you? I didn't realize my entertainment was less important than your studying. See? Passive-aggressive. A master. I wanted to scream, but I just walked away. What was the point? He was just going to make me feel bad. It just felt like he was taking over my space, my life. I had no privacy. He was always poking around, leaving his stuff in my stuff. And the worst part was, he had this college housing lined up for the next year. Like, he was going to move into a dorm on campus. I was counting down the days. Seriously, counting them. I just needed him gone. I needed my space back. But then, out of nowhere, he started talking about how he might not get the housing. Something about a mix-up, too many applicants, not enough rooms. My heart literally dropped into my stomach. No. No, no, no. He had to move out. I couldn't deal with another year of him. Another year of his loud video games, his dirty dishes, his passive-aggressive comments, his constant presence. I just couldn't. So, this panic thought, it just jumped into my head. It was a split second, you know? One of those dumb decisions you make when you're desperate. I was sitting there, listening to him whine to my mom about his housing problem, and it just clicked. I had to do something. Something to make sure he had to leave. I waited until he was out, at his classes or whatever, and it was just me and my mom. I went into the kitchen, and I started doing the dishes, acting all quiet and sad. My mom noticed, of course. She's always, like, "What's wrong, sweetie?" And I just started to cry. Not a full-on sob, but, you know, the quiet, trembling kind of cry. The kind that makes someone lean in and say, "Holy crap, what happened next?" "Mom," I whispered, my voice all shaky. "I can't take it anymore." "What is it, honey?" she asked, putting her arm around me. "It's Kyle," I sniffled. He's getting really aggressive." My mom's eyes got wide. "Aggressive? What do you mean?" He hit me," I choked out, tears finally flowing freely. I pointed to my arm, where there was, like, a tiny little bruise from where I'd bumped into the kitchen counter earlier. He grabbed my arm so hard when I asked him to turn down his game last night. He just snapped. Her face just crumpled. "Oh my God, Jessica. He hit you? My goodness." She looked genuinely horrified. She started asking me a million questions. "Are you okay? Did he hurt you? Why didn't you tell me sooner?" And I just kept up the waterworks, talking about how scared I was, how I didn't want to cause trouble, how I was afraid he'd do it again. I even added in some stuff about how he'd been making me feel unsafe for a while, just little subtle digs, you know, making it sound like a pattern of behavior. I was really laying it on thick. Weaponized vulnerability, baby. Sometimes, you just gotta use what you got. My mom, bless her heart, she totally bought it. She was crying with me. "Oh, my poor baby," she kept saying. I had no idea. "I'll talk to him. This is unacceptable." And I was like, "No, Mom. Don't just talk to him. He needs to go. I don't feel safe here with him anymore. Especially with his college housing up in the air. What if he stays another year? I can't live like this." I kept pushing, making it clear that his presence was a threat to my well-being. I even mentioned how stressed it was making me for my job, like I couldn't focus at the office because I was always on edge at home. And then, I played my trump card. "Mom," I said, looking her straight in the eye, "if he stays, I'm moving out. I can't live in a house where I don't feel safe." I knew that would get her. She hates it when I threaten to leave. She's always been so worried about me, especially since, you know, my own dad left when I was little. I use that a lot. Weaponized insecurity, too. It was a tough conversation, but eventually, she agreed. She said she'd talk to her husband, Kyle's dad, and they'd figure something out. My heart gave a little jump. Yes. This was going to work. A few days later, Kyle came home, looking all sullen. He barely looked at me. He went straight to his room, and then I heard my mom and her husband talking to him, their voices low and serious. I couldn't hear everything, but I heard bits and pieces. Unacceptable behavior, need for space, safety concerns. And then, I heard Kyle's voice, raised in protest. What? That's not true. I would never. But then it quieted down. Later that night, my mom came into my room, looking drained. Honey, she said, Kyle's dad is going to talk to the college. They're going to try and get him a temporary room for the rest of this semester, and then he'll look for something off campus for next year. He won't be living here anymore after that. A wave of relief washed over me. It worked. Thank you, Mom, I said, putting on my best grateful face. Thank you so much. I need to feel safe. Kyle moved out a few days later. He didn't say goodbye to me. He just packed his stuff, his face stony, and walked out the door. My mom and her husband looked sad, but I just felt free. My space was mine again. No more dirty dishes, no more loud video games, no more Kyle. It was amazing. I could finally relax at home. For a while, everything was perfect. I had the house to myself, more or less. I could leave my stuff wherever I wanted, eat my snacks in peace. My job felt less stressful because my home life was calm. I even started posting more on Facebook, little subtle updates about how peaceful my life was now, how happy I was. Validation seeking, totally. But I didn't care. I deserved it. But then, things started to get weird. My mom's husband, Kyle's dad, he started acting cold. He wasn't as friendly as before. He'd barely talk to me, and when he did, it was short, clipped sentences. And my mom, she started acting strange too. She was quieter, more distant. And sometimes, when she thought I wasn't looking, she'd give me this weird, sad look. I brushed it off at first. Maybe they were just sad Kyle was gone. Whatever. Not my problem. I was just living my best life. Then, one evening, I was home, watching TV, and my mom came into the living room. She sat down across from me, and her face was serious. Like, really serious. My stomach did a little flip. Jessica, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Kyle's dad, he spoke to Kyle's advisor at the college. About the housing situation, and about what you said. My heart started pounding. Oh no. And Kyle's advisor told him that Kyle was never actually in danger of losing his housing, she continued, her voice trembling now. They had his dorm room confirmed months ago. There was no mix-up. No overcrowding. He had his spot. My mind raced. How did they find that out? Kyle must have told them. That little snake. And then, my mom continued, a tear rolling down her cheek, Kyle's dad asked Kyle about you hitting him. And Kyle, he swore he never touched you. She looked at me, her eyes filled with pain. He said you made it up, Jessica. He said you just wanted him gone. I started to panic. Mom, no. He's lying. He's trying to turn you against me. He's always been jealous of me. But she just shook her head. Kyle's dad said he found out from one of Kyle's friends that Kyle had been trying to get out of that college housing anyway. He had a lead on a place with some buddies, off campus, that was cheaper and closer to his new job. He was trying to figure out how to tell us he wasn't taking the dorm room without seeming ungrateful. My face must have gone pale. That little. He was going to move out anyway? All this for nothing? And, my mom said, her voice firmer now, Kyle's dad also found out that Kyle had lost that job lead because he missed a crucial interview while he was dealing with the fallout from you saying he hit you. He got suspended from campus housing because of the accusation. He had to go through a whole disciplinary process to clear his name. He nearly lost his scholarship, too. My mind was reeling. This was bad. Really bad. Jessica, my mom said, her voice breaking. How could you? How could you lie about something like that? To your own brother? He's not my brother. I screamed, tears springing to my eyes. He was in my way. He was making my life a living hell. I just wanted him gone. But my mom just stood up. Her face was set. "I can't believe you, Jessica," she said, her voice filled with a kind of cold disappointment I'd never heard from her before. "I thought I knew you. But I guess I don't." And then she walked out of the room. That was the beginning of the end. My mom and her husband started talking less and less to me. Eventually, he barely acknowledged my existence. And my mom, she started spending more and more time at Kyle's new place. Visiting him, helping him get settled. She even started talking about moving to be closer to him, to Houston, where he was looking at transferring to a new college. And then, one day, she told me. "Jessica," she said, her voice flat. "Your dad and we're selling the house. And we're moving to Houston. We've decided to start fresh." My jaw dropped. "What? You're leaving me? Where am I supposed to go?" "You're 24, Jessica," she said, without any emotion. "It's time for you to find your own place. Your own life." I was completely blindsided. My own mom, kicking me out? It was because of Kyle. It had to be. He had poisoned her against me. He had gaslighted her into thinking I was the bad guy. So, here I am. I'm living in a tiny, overpriced apartment in a crummy part of town. I barely make enough to cover rent and bills. My old job? Gone. I had to take something completely different, and it's awful. My mom and her husband are in Houston, all cozy with Kyle. She barely calls me. And when she does, it's just to talk about Kyle, about how well he's doing, how happy he is. He's even going to a better college now, apparently, and has a new job that pays way more than my crappy one. He even has a serious girlfriend, some sweet, innocent thing who probably doesn't know his true colors. I see their pictures on Facebook sometimes, laughing, holding hands. It makes me sick. He got everything he wanted. And I'm here, alone, struggling. It's just so unfair. I just wanted my space. I just wanted him out of my hair. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. It's all his fault, really. If he hadn't been such a pain, if he hadn't made my life so miserable, I wouldn't have had to do what I did. I don't care anymore about any of them. They got what they wanted. But I'm still here. And I'm still blaming everyone else in the end.